you guys don't know Justin, I don't know how you don't, but especially if you don't know Justin, he's with Senior Life Services, growing. I mean, how long have you been in the industry, by the way?
I mean, I've been licensed for like 5 years, I think, but I didn't really do anything my first year, like at all. I just got it and then did my other job, and then really been going hard, selling and growing a team for 4 years. About in May, it'll be 4 years. Well, it's June, so 4 years in a month.
Sweet. So Justin's been in the industry for a little bit now. Obviously, you can do a lot in 5 years, which just shows what's possible in the industry. And so we're going to be talking about today. I mean, right now, what's your agency doing a month roughly? Would you say
800 to 900,000.
about to hit the big M?
Yeah, say it. We're close.
That's awesome. So, guys, he knows what he's talking about. There's tons and tons of agents that he works with, that he trains and helps. So this is gonna be perfect for you guys that are producing, but also trying to build. We're gonna be breaking this down. This is like very specific things that you can implement starting right after you get off this call. And yeah, there's gonna be a ton of nuggets here. So I appreciate you coming on here, Justin. And so this is gonna be awesome. So the first question that I have, we're going to start off with producing. We'll go to building, and then we'll have about 20 to 30 minutes of live Q&A. So for all you guys that are here on the Zoom, you guys can actually come on here and ask questions as well. So the first question that I want to ask is, in terms of producing, is when somebody's coming in and maybe they've produced a little bit already, what's the mindset that an agent that wants to make six figures, right? What's the mindset that they should have, whether that's through their schedule, the how many leads they should be working, like what's the complete mindset that a new agent should have?
Yeah, so good question. There's a lot of places out there that don't even have leads and people are successful. So like if you listen to the guy who started the IMO that I'm with, SLS, he's been selling life insurance for 50 years. And when he started, he cold called out of the phone book to schedule appointments, and that's really how people did it forever. So people sold life insurance for a long time without leads, and leads help tremendously. I mean, obviously leads are the lifeblood, but what I mean by that is that if people can get leads just with sweat equity, like I started with New York Life and I got my first sales just door knocking businesses. So one of the biggest barriers, I think, for new agents is action. And I don't think new agents are lazy, because new agents come in, they get licensed, and it's all admit, guys, you all work hard to get your license, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Santiago is like shaking his head. He's like, yep, I was hard. So, people aren't lazy. They're just, sometimes we get scared to fail and anxious of rejection and these other things, and it can kind of intimidate us from actually taking the actions that we need to succeed. So what I've found is that a lot of times you'll hear recruiters and agency builders and managers, leaders, whatever you want to call it, say, oh, these agents are just lazy. And I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of people are just scared to take action. And if you don't have money to buy leads, there are other ways to make sales. Like you can literally go, if you live in a populated area, I promise you can go door knock businesses and make money, just cold door knocking. Just, you can make sales that way if you don't have any money. So, I think that's, of course, leads are, I mean, in terms of amount of leads to buy, obviously as many as you can work, because the only reason why an insurance wouldn't be able to work is because they don't have leads, right? So that's the only reason why you can't work, is if you don't have leads. So if you're not, the guy I started with at New York Life, he said, if you're not calling to set an appointment or on the way to an appointment or canvassing to set an appointment, then you're not working. So it really, as many leads as you can afford. If someone's just getting into telesales, that's hard. I highly recommend someone work some face-to-face appointments first, get some sits, and then like you have somewhat of a semblance, an idea of what you're doing. And it's a lot more forgiving than just jumping in on the phone.
Yeah, that's big. Do you currently right now, like, do you say recommend agents to go in the field, or are you guys just over the phone?
We have a different setup. So our agents are provided unlimited leads, aged leads, new leads, and inbound live transfers and inbound calls. at a different commission structure. So our agents are at 50% of the annual premium plus bonuses, which will put them up into the 70% plus range, not paying for anything. So we handle the CRM lead that. So in that case, like people can get into telesales, and because we're so invested in the agents financially, we're invested time wise as well. Like, you know, we have everybody on the same CRM. So like it makes it easier because my new agents, they start literally, they don't they don't need to know how to do anything. They don't need to know applications. They don't need to know the products, nothing. They just need to know how to use the CRM, jump on, call leads, get them halfway through the script. And then their coach that I assign them jumps on their call and helps them close their sales for the first few weeks. And then we integrate them further up. So in a system like ours, it doesn't really matter because they're just, you know, they have so much like TLC starting out. But when I started out, and I didn't start in telesales, right? Like I worked leads face to face. I ran Facebook leads in South Florida, driving not cold, like not cold, but they would fill out a lead form. I'd go knock on their door. I didn't even set appointments. So I just got sick of driving around, and I was like, dude, I have to sell over the phone. Yeah. So it depends what setup you're in. If you're independent and you're buying leads, I would recommend get some sits in first, so you understand the products, the presentation, how to underwrite, all that stuff.
Yeah. That's good. What would you say to somebody trying to transition to telesales and is scared, like haven't seen the results over the phone, scared, maybe have some limiting beliefs of people won't trust you as much if you're over the phone? What would your advice be for agents wanting to make that transition?
Don't be scared. You know, I mean, the first time you do anything is the first time you do anything. So, it is a transition, and it is definitely easier to build credibility face to face, 100%. I mean, the person's right there. They're not going to be like, "Are you scamming me?" You know, I mean, if they think that, they won't tell you, right? So, I would say like, have a sense of humor, be a good conversationalist. People want to buy from people that they like, people who like them, and people who are like them, right? So those three things are really important. So through your whole presentation, I was always really good at that. And that helped me, like, start a conversation, get them to like me. I look for reasons why I like them, and I look for commonalities of why we're like each other, and it just helped build the trust. And of course, finding the need, you know, you have to figure out if there's a problem, ask the right questions and stuff. But you know, that trend, you just got to jump to it and go and practice.
Yeah, that's good. What are traits that you see successful agents have? Because how many agents are you like hiring a month now?
Anywhere, probably about 50 to 60. I only have 100 active agents right now, though, because I turn people really quick if it doesn't. When we invest so much money that if someone's not like 50+ hour a week in, I have to turn them, because you know those leads, it's a different, you know, it's just a different model. It's not just like hire anybody and let them work an hour a week. I just can't afford to do that.
Yeah, so you fire, you're cool firing, right? Because you
I mean,
have
they kind of fire themselves, you know. It's I don't even have to fire anybody. They just, I wouldn't, before they start, I'm very clear on the expectations, like right up front, Zoom face to face, like, hey, this is what I expect. If you do this, you will be sick. We have a $100,000 guarantee. Like if people hit certain talk time hours every week for their first year, we will pay them $100,000 if they don't make it. That's how, like, you know, certain we are that it'll work. So it's like, if someone can't work, you know, it's like, I'm asking them to work 30% of the week. That, I don't think that's unreasonable for someone who wants to change their financial situation, right? And it doesn't even have to be forever. So it's like, but everybody's in a different place, you know. So your most important ability is your availability. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I recruit a lot of people, and I turn a lot of people, but it's a different thing. I could have a lot more agents who would sell maybe a policy or two a month, like a lot of other places do. So,
yeah, for sure. This is kind of like a little bit off topic for producing, but I think it's definitely like plays a part. So obviously, like if you guys don't follow this dude is straight jacked. I was like, this is the Hormozy of the insurance industry. We got a jack dude.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So at like on that note, like what would you say, like the physical, going to the gym, working out, pushing your body with weights, what role, like how does that play out? Like how does that help you when you're going throughout your day as a business owner?
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't fully answer your last question either, which was, I forgot. The traits of a successful agent.
Oh
so
yeah.
Keep that one there, and I'll answer that next. or what any other time if you want me to. But there's a lot of parallels between building a business and exercising. I mean, for someone to have a good physique, you have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. I mean, I've been working out consistently for 8 to 10 years, for like a while. So it's like, and there's a lot of parallels. Like you have to be, it's the stuff that people see, like the physical effects. They don't see that every single day eating healthy and, making those choices and going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning when I don't feel like it. And, those consistent disciplines, it's the same as in business. You have to build up over time. And sometimes as well, like you can go to the gym 7 days a week and not make any progress because you're not taking the most effective actions. So same with business. You can sit there and seem super busy, but you're not going anywhere because you're not taking the most successful action. So like you're going to get more out of squats and bench presses and deadlifts than you will out of, dumbbell flies and tricep kickbacks or something, right? So it's like, or leg extensions. So it's like in business too, there are more effective actions that you can take to make more money. And also too, every time you go and you get beat up, you break down your body. You push yourself to failure and you fail every single time you go to the gym. You push the set to the max, you fail on the last rep, and then you go back, and then your body goes back, it catches up, it rebuilds, and then executes again. So it's like any plan for business, and any plan is better than no plan, because any plan will result in you being successful. Because what happens is the first plan sucks, then you go back, you analyze, you adjust, and then that one may be 1% better, and then you analyze, adjust, execute, analyze, adjust, execute.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to that. So there's so many parallels, and it really helps keep me consistent. It do it more for my mental now than anything else. I only work out 2 days a week now. I put a lot of more time into business and stuff, but I don't need to work out 7 days a week now to maintain everything. So
Really? Okay. So that's actually really cool. Because you're just maintaining now, right?
I'm actually building a little bit. My strength's going up. And so that's what I mean with most effective actions, right? Like there are some things I can do every single day to stay busy, but like what's the most effective action? So for me, it's like, hey, what can I do to make a YouTube video that's going to find maybe the next person who will change our agency and we can help them change their life, right? So like, what's more effective, that or like going and analyzing some data that doesn't even really matter in the long run?
Yeah.
It's like so if I go and I just do squats, bench press, deadlifts, and barbell rows, I'm gonna grow, and I eat enough food. So it's I'm just working on those now, and you just change it up.
Yeah, I think it's funny because especially as I've entered into more of the building phase, I get a lot of questions of like, what CRM should I use? What should I go like try hitting like mobile number, or like what is it called? The area code within the area code. Should I like all these different questions that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. It really doesn't matter. Like you're thinking about what's gonna get you from a 9 to a 9.5, when in reality you're at like a 3, and that's not gonna get you to a 10. So it's like really focusing on what are the actionable steps that I can take today to push me and propel me forward. What are the highest leverage opportunity, like things that I can pursue right now, which is getting on the phone and dialing the phone. Nothing's gonna take away from that. Right? Maybe you have a little bit higher response rate, but the reality is if you're not dialing the phone, contact rate's going to stay 0.
Yep.
So
exactly. There's
and
no
you
shortcuts.
probably can attest to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have agents. We give people all the leads they need, and we still get people who are like, hey, I want to run Facebook ads for my own leads or something. And I encourage learning how to do marketing and advertising. And I say, but there's a reason why you're at 50% comp. It's like you don't have to do that. So it's true. There's Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote an essay called Law of Compensation, and it's pretty verbose and really long, and probably doesn't need to be as long as it was, but it's a really great piece. And he essentially talks about how you can't get something for nothing, and there are no shortcuts. So CRMs, auto dialers, all these things, they make it easier. AI, they make it easier, but you have to do the work. Like there's no to get out of it without. I mean, we had agents making 150 grand plus a few years ago at our home office in Vero Beach, just calling off a landline phone, right? Like Rory Doherty, who owns the IMO, he literally broke his rotary phone. It had no numbers on it back in the day when they had rotary. He was the phone company said, I've never seen anybody break a phone ever from using it too much. And he did. Imagine like doing that,
That's
so you
insane.
can't, you just can't, you got to put the work in. There are things that make it easier, but focus on those high level activities. Stop organizing your CRM, stop creating spreadsheets, like stop doing all this stuff. Stop like researching, oh, the state with the highest contact rate for outbound dials. It's like, no, just like, and I see some people chuckling, and I did that. I did some of that stuff, and maybe you see other people doing that, or you get guilt. You're guilty of doing that. And it's like, no, just make the call, and if you don't have anybody to call, then like, I don't know, get some cheap data or something. I don't know, or go to downtown and just be like, hey, I sell life insurance. That's what I did. The first place I walked into, I was like, hey, I sell life insurance. Anybody need something? And it was this French guy. He's like, oh, my friend, I just came from France. Yes, I need it. I was like, perfect. The guy drank wine all day and ate cheese, and he got like the perfect health rate with blood tests and everything. I'm like, man, that's the key to longevity right there, huh? Wine and cheese.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's hilarious. So there are, and I'm sure that you probably get on a way higher scale, people who don't know how to sell wanting to run Facebook ads and like trying to learn Facebook ads. What's your advice? Like, when's the right time for somebody to start running their own Facebook leads?
Well, if you're gonna buy Facebook leads, I would definitely run them. Like if your plan is just to, so like if someone's like, I'm gonna go buy Facebook leads to sell, I would probably learn how to run them on your own. I mean, there's plenty of videos out there where you can copy. I mean, the mistake I see when people like, I'll have people reach out, be like, dude, I watched a video, it's just not working. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you 15 minutes of my time, send me a picture, what's up. And then like, either the forms are all different, or they change the picture or change the ad text, or it's like for annuities or something. And I'm like, dude, just so if you watch a tutorial, copy exactly as it is, first off. And if you're going to buy Facebook leads and you can copy exactly as it is on a low spend and get them for cheaper, I mean, yeah, because then I would do that. Telemarketing callback leads are probably going to be the easiest for a new agent to get started on buying those, because they answer the phone, right? It's a number. There's a recording attached to it. They answer the phone. You may get a higher percentage of Alzheimer's dementia because they answer the phone. But, it's I mean, I would say marketing, I don't know. Marketing changed my life. I mean, I got in the golden era on Facebook leads, and I was getting them for like $2 each. And that's how I started building. I was like, dude, I had so many leads. I couldn't even sell them all. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to put on a $200 a day ad spend and run it for a day and then go work them all. I woke up to like 80 leads. I was like, dude, I called my brother. I'm like, yo, get your license. I can't sell all these. So, use the game for me. So I would always encourage someone to learn how to market and advertise their own products and services, because there may be things outside of insurance that you can use that for. And it's definitely a valuable tool to learn. But, it's hard because if you have to control your pipeline to control your business. So make sure that you are actually trying to work and sell these leads. That's why I say, hey, look, if you're gonna run Facebook ads, like put it in like a 30-mile radius and like run some, and then go knock the doors and sell them. That's what I did when I started. Because I would have got shut down quick if I just called them and it was like, because I don't know, that's it. I don't want people to get hung up on the Facebook thing and like spend a month trying to figure out Facebook ads, because you can figure it out in 35 minutes by watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's it's good because I feel like it kept me in the business too. I just think like what I've come to realize is like, why did that work? And why is that maybe different from somebody else's experience? And it's because I learned how to sell first. I knew how to sell, and then it made sense to start marketing. But I think like a lot of people want to put the chicken before the egg and try to do two at once. When it doesn't work, you're not going to see the same success if you didn't put 9 months in or 10, 12 months in before you start marketing. So yeah, I like that. What were we going to say? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like it's, it's important to take control of your pipeline, but you got to learn how to sell too.
Big time. So let's go into building. And if you guys don't like, go subscribe to Justin's YouTube channel. It's Justin Von Egan. Just look him up. Facebook. Is that where you're at everywhere? Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah,
pretty much.
everywhere. Jay Von Eigen, but I mean, I'm the only Justin, probably the only. There's another Justin Von Eigen, but it's like a picture of me. Like, I don't know. You'll see the difference. One has a bunch of followers, one has none. So
Follow the one that has all of them.
yeah.
So let's move into building. So you just posted on Facebook 10 things I've learned about agency building. 1, recruit in excess. Agents are insurance for your agency's income. All problems are solved by recruiting. I'm just gonna read this because it's so good, and then let's talk through it. Let's start with that one. Agents are insurance for your agency's income, and all problems are solved by recruiting. Let's break that down.
So if you have, well, agents are insurance for your agency's income. So I strongly encourage everybody here, once you get to a point where you can sell, to teach other people how to do it. If you want to get into leadership, and have extra money, because I said the other day, you can make 6 figures selling insurance. You'll make 7 figures selling the opportunity. Okay. So some people, I have plenty of agents who are successful producers. They will never want to recruit or lead anybody or manage anybody. And that's totally fine. It's a whole other headache, but agents are insurance for your agency's income. What I mean by that is the more agents you have, the more insurance you have, the less risk there is. So like an insurance company, right? It's riskier for them to insure 10 people than it is for them to insure 10,000 people. So if you have 15 agents, right, and you have 2 that are crushing it, like you lose 1 or 2 of them, and that's a big risk. And you're going to lose someone to, 0.0000005% more comp somewhere else, or you're going to lose someone who maybe they just get sick of it, or they want to go sell Medicare because that's all of a sudden what everybody wants to do, or like, they're going to switch things up. So it's like, they may want to do something else. They're like, hey, I want to get into some other business, or they can't do it anymore, or for whatever reason, it's like, so the more, but you're going to get to a point where, like me right now, right, I have about 100 people actively working. So it's like, if I lose someone writing, so we're doing almost $1 million a month. So it's like, if I lose someone writing 10 to 20K AP a week, like, yeah, it'll be a hit, but not nearly as much of a hit as it was when we were writing 300,000 a month. Right. So it's like, the more people you have, the less risk, because it's spread out between more people. And yeah, so that's what I mean. And all problems are solved through recruiting. So if you're a bad leader, if you don't have high leadership characteristics, if you recruit enough people, you're going to find someone who is. If you're a bad trainer, you're going to recruit enough people to where you find someone who's a great trainer. If you, if you need more money, then boom, you got to write more sales, you get more people, right? If you need more leaders, you're going to find more leaders when you recruit more people. So, I understand the idea of looking just for quality, but you have to go through quantity to find quality. And I don't know anybody who gets big by thinking small from that aspect. I mean, think about like religions, right? Like religions mass recruit people. They're like, dude, like, follow me, we by the millions, we need you. So, it's like to gain that momentum. And I don't mean to take it to that direction, but it's just an example, right? Like, it's like, if it's like, in your agency, the more, like, you can't get big by staying small. It's impossible. And you have to recruit a lot of people. Now, you can work on increasing agent retention, which we do a lot of, and you can work on all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to recruit a lot of people.
Yeah. Second one. So there's 10 of these. Leadership ability is more important than sales ability. What do you mean by that?
So like, when you're building an agency, right, you can be a rock star salesperson, but if you're a terrible leader, you're never going to grow. You can be a mediocre salesperson or a par salesperson, but if you're a great leader, then you're going to explode. And the reason that is because great leaders are able to help other people take control. Like, agents, top producers are good at getting themselves to do things. Leaders are good at getting other people to do things, right? So if you aren't that great of a salesperson, or you're mediocre, like, you have to know enough to teach people, right? But like, you can be a mediocre salesperson, but an amazing leader, inspirational. You just find what gets people showing up for you every day and showing up for themselves. Like, it's really teaching people how to show up for themselves, giving them and helping them accomplish their goals. Yeah. So if you can do that, because at first the thing is, everybody that you meet is going to look up to you from a positional standpoint, right? They're like, oh, Johnny's my upline. I better listen to what he says, right? But then you help someone make a few sales and make some money. Like, no, dude, Johnny's like looking out for me, man. I'm gonna do what he recommends because he's that guy for me right now. So it's just it's a different thing. But yeah, so in terms of growth, being a bigger leader will definitely help you make more money than being a good salesperson.
Yeah, it's a higher leverage opportunity. I learned that from one of like Alex Hormozzi's like the VP of sales at acquisition.com. Like that's what he was saying is that you like the higher leverage opportunity is teaching other people and running a sales organization, training, recruiting people in sales. So I love that. The third thing, 3-month ROI. Expected to take 3 months minimum for you get an ROI on your agency investments.
Yeah, that was a big shocker for me when I started. So, you leads, right? So think of it an agent. You're kind of printing money once you get the system down, right? So you buy leads, you sell them, you make money. You buy more, you sell them, you get an ROI like that week, right? Like you get money back right away, assuming that you can sell them. Especially if you're buying direct mail leads and knocking on the doors, it's pretty much like printing money. Like it's really hard to buy 20 direct mail leads and go knock on all their doors and not sell a single policy or turn a profit in a week, right? So like that's immediate ROI. But agency building, you're going to invest in recruiting. I encourage people to look at unlicensed agents. There are plenty of licensed agents who are good, but I prefer unlicensed. I do take plenty of people who have their licenses, but most people everyone starts unlicensed, I guess, right? So you're going to spend the money on recruiting, and then they have to get their license. That takes a month or a month and a half, depending on where you live. And then they have to get trained up, and then they have to be efficient, and they got to start getting good. So it's really like 3 months minimum to where that person starts bringing a profit in as an override for you. So that's what I mean. It's like, you got to take a step back to take a few steps forward.
So what, I want to ask another question on that. Like what is, I guess it's just very different based on the opportunity, but like in terms of like building, when you're building and say you like a good ROI, I guess like what we're trained is like 4x on leads. Like what would you say is like the ROI that you should look for in like a 3-month span? Is that like, what would you say like in that question, I guess? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I don't even look at it. I've never calculated my ROI, to be honest. Grant Cardone says don't look at ROI because you won't make as much money. What would you rather, you make $1 million with a 2% ROI or $500,000 with a 10% ROI? You know what I mean? So it's like I just know that if I put money in, I'm going to get money back, and the more I put in, the more I'll get back. If I looked at ROI and started breaking all that down, I don't even look at my expenses. Like as long as I got extra money in my account at the end of the month, I'm cool. And like I don't even if I think of, hey, will this cost me more money not to do in the long run than it will to do it? And if that's the case, will this help me be synonymous with final expense life insurance, right? Will this help me have the largest final expense agency in the country? And if the answer is yes, if that action will do it, then I take that action, regardless of what because this is the thing, dude. The number one investment is in yourself. So everybody here, if you're an agent, your success will be limited by the investments you make in yourself through time and then in money investments too. Second thing you invest in is other people. So when I recruit agents, I'm investing in them, but I'm also investing in the leadership team that I'm building because I'm putting them under them, right? And then you invest in assets. So, it's like I don't calculate the ROI. I wish I had that answer, but yeah.
Yeah. It's more like building a brand. Like branding is it's huge because it'll just compound on itself. 20,000 or 30,000, whatever you spend this month is going to help maybe a year down the line. You won't ever see it. Right. So I love that. I'm going to skip a few of these and then we'll kind of open up to Q&A.
Sounds good.
So number 10, give up override to get time. If your leaders make more money, you'll get more time.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you're building a big thing that you can, you'll like, and this is hard, right? Because like I've had to do this a few times because I had like 30 to 40 agents direct to me actively working. That's a lot. Like imagine having like grown adults that you have to be on top of and like keep track of, right? On a daily basis.
Yeah.
Be there for and take their calls and help them sell and answer their questions. And have the Dr. Phil moments with, this person when their girlfriend breaks up with them or whatever, which women are a lot tougher than men, I've learned for sure. But it's, you gotta be, sorry guys. But it's, I just had a complete brain fart there. What was the one that we were on? I'm sorry. I don't.
So it was give up
Oh
override.
yeah. Sorry.
time.
Sorry. So you give up
You're good.
override to, I'm sorry guys. That was crazy. So, yeah. So like, okay. So I had 30 or 40 people direct to me. Right. And I had like a solid spread on them. And then I was like, dang, I'm capped though. Cause I keep getting, I'll get 35 and 5 will leave. I'll get 40, 5 will leave. I'll get 45, 10 will leave. Right. So it was just that like, I couldn't break that. And then that's where the John Maxwell thing of leaders multiply, salespeople add. It was like, okay, let me promote one of these people role. Let me invest the money. I'll invest 8 to 10 grand a month in their team's growth and development. I'm like, I'll sponsor them. That's cool. And then it was like I know every time I add a leader, I'm going to add another 50 to 100K to my bottom line production, like within a few months. So it's like, but my spread is smaller. But what happened now is I make more money. I make a smaller piece out of each one, right? But I make more money overall, and they're doing most of the work, right? I do a lot of new agent training. I have one-on-ones with people all week. Like I still do a lot of work, but they handle a lot of the stuff. And the thing is too, is if you jump in for your leaders, you're kind of undermining their ability. So it's not for me being lazy, but like if someone's there trying to lead a team and then you're like kind of trying to butt in and take over because you feel like you want to do more or whatever, you're kind of undermining them. And that doesn't make anybody, like if my upline kept trying to like, do everything I was doing while I'm doing it, like, bro, come on, man, let me do my thing. Right. So like, when you give up override, you get time because now I have more time on my hands to focus on other larger scale activities like this. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do an interview at 5:30. I got some agent call me, I would have some agent call me how to do a United Home Life application for the 17th time, because they just couldn't figure it out. So, yeah. So that's what I mean. So you give up override. Don't, you give to get. You get time and you end up getting more money because you multiply.
Yeah, that's really good. Last question. It's not based on that. It's just building. When is the right time for an agent to start building?
When you know enough to show someone else how to do it.
Simple.
That's it.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
That's it.
Okay. And what, I guess one last question for that, because that's really straight to the point. That's awesome. What would you say, like a person who's still producing that has to continue having the cash flow, like to be able to invest into their business?
Yeah.
What would you say that their schedule should be in that like the time, like balancing the time? Or
the more you put into your people. Like? Yeah. So the more you put into your people, the more the faster they're going to get going. I mean, it's hard to wear two hats, right? Especially in telesales, like, because face to face, it's easier to build a face to face team, right? Because they can be in the home and they can call you. They can be like, "Oh, I'm here with Betty. She made me a disgusting cup of coffee, and I'm trying to figure out a policy for her, and and we can't figure it out. What she qualified for? Here's her stuff, and then you put me on speaker. Hey, Betty, what's going on? Right? But telesales, it's like group chat. Like, hey, these are the help need the answer now. You know what I mean? Like, and if you can't figure it out in a few minutes, they're done. So like telesales teams are harder to scale and grow because you have to give up that personal production a little faster, or at least like you build one person and get them going. But like I said, in that, because if you build someone up and then they can get a higher comp somewhere else, they may just leave and go somewhere else, right? So it's hard. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will. I mean, I've had that happen to me. So it's like, you want to, I mean, the more you invest into your people, the more you're going to get out of it at the end of the day. So, I mean, you could always, sell enough that where you have some, this is a good thing. I would say after your first year. Okay. So you be consistent for a year, and then you have your good renewals coming in. And then like, you have that extra cushion every month to be like, hey, it's okay if this person, and don't go take out a ton of, buy extra stuff that you have to pay monthly payments on, so that you're like, man, if I don't make 15 grand this month, I'm in the hole. You don't want to do that for living expenses. So I would do it until you get a decent amount of, so you're going to have some renewals coming in and some pay throughs, and then have that transition. That'll help, having that cash flow there. But there's always going to be a risk, right? Like there's always going to be that time where you stop personal producing, or you stop personally selling, or you take or it slows down, maybe not all the way stop, but it slows down, and you have to put time into other people. And that's that 3-month gap, right? That's like, I'm going to slow down a little. I'm going to take a step back to take 3 steps forward.
Yeah. That's good. All right, let's open up for questions. Ask whatever questions that you want to Justin. We have about 20 or so minutes. So ask the who wants to ask a question or want some advice on something.
Yeah, so I had a question. First of all, hey Justin.
What's up, man?
Yeah, so kind of just like in your opinion, does this business get more complicated or like simpler, like the further you go into it?
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't really hear you.
Yeah, so just in your opinion, does this business get more complicated or simple?
It gets easier. And so that's a good question. So and once you guys are putting in, it can seem like, so this is what I've learned, and I don't know your schedule. Markeel, is that how you pronounce your name? Okay. I don't know your schedule, and I don't know what you do on a day-to-day basis, but I'll speak for me personally. This business got a lot less confusing after 2 to 3 months of just putting in massive action every day. And I mean massive action like or every week, like 50 plus hours a week. And that's 50 hours really isn't crazy massive. I'm talking maybe if you do like 60 plus hours. What happens if you're putting 20 to 40 hours a week into this, then you're probably not you're probably not going to see the results that you want. So it's going to feel very draining. It's going to feel overwhelming. And if you're putting in 50 to 60 plus hours a week for a few months, that's going to pay off, and you're going to end up getting the results that you're looking for, and it's not going to feel like work anymore, and it's going to be fun. So it's like I've never, you never regret putting extra effort into something, but you have to go the extra mile for a consistent amount of time. And then it doesn't feel overwhelming, or it doesn't feel confusing anymore. Things just start to click and things start to flow, and you hit that stride, you hit a rhythm where it's like, man, this is fun. And it just starts to pay off, and it doesn't feel like work anymore because everything's clicking. So I don't know if that helps. It gets easier as you go for sure, but you're always going to run into new challenges, but that's the fastest way to get out of that confusion. Thank you.
Awesome. I had one real quick. You guys work a lot of live transfers, right?
Yeah, we everything. Well, we outbound live transfers, inbound from social media. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've just got like the last couple live transfers that I've got. It just seems like the biggest objection I get is just, I'm just like shopping around, I just want a quote real quick. It's like, what do you think the best way is to overcome that objection?
Hey, that's awesome. I get everybody quotes, no problem. And then you just keep going.
Whenever you get down to numbers.
What's that?
Like at the end, once you show them numbers, you ask, pick an option, and they still say the same thing.
Yeah. So in the presentation, you're going to want to make sure that you build, you try to ask some questions to figure out why they need it. And then you want to figure out, have you seen anything else? Have you gotten anything in the mail or checked out any other places? Right. And then if they hit you with that at the end, just say, hey, I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you, use the loop, Jordan Belfort loop. So I would say, I use this for every objection. So someone says, I just need a quote. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go shop around. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you a question. Does the idea make sense to you? Like, do you like the idea of a program like this for Johnny? And they usually say, yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm just looking. Hey, yeah, I completely understand. Now the true beauty of this plan is that unlike most plans out there, say it's a day one benefit, this plan is going to kick in the day you make your first payment. Now, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of stuff on TV and you got it in the mail, and a lot of those programs actually take 2 years to kick in. This one's going to kick in the day your first payment. Not only that, Betty, but this program you could potentially get ahead of time because it has a terminal illness accelerated death benefit rider attached to it at absolutely no cost. and 70% of the CDC says 70% of people die of a terminal illness. And in the last 5 years of someone's life, there's about $30,000 in out-of-pocket expenses, which are extremely hard for people to cover unless they have a final expense plan with terminal illness benefits just like this. You with me? Say, yeah. Say, great. And then the next part, you say, now, if I was, and use the beneficiary, right? You say, well, if Johnny came to you and he said, hey, mom, I found the best program that there is. This is the one. And like, I worked with an amazing agent. His name's Justin. He's the coolest guy I've ever met in my life, right? You can make him laugh. And I came to you and I said, if Johnny did all the shopping and came to you and said, I found the best program, in that case, you probably want to pull the trigger, right? And they say, yeah. And then it's a trust thing. You introduce yourself, explain what you're doing, explain the benefits of the company, and then have them drop the price. And then you drop the price. You always want to quote people super high. Okay. So if you quote them major high, right? Like say if you like 50 Mutual of Omaha goes up to 50K or 40K.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think it's 50.
Yeah. Well, say whatever the max coverage
50,
is, right?
50.
50. Okay. So quote them 50, 45, 40 just to start. Cause they're going to pull that crap at the end, right? Most likely. Well, yeah, I'm just looking for quotes. Like I said, don't sell me. So, and then at the end, you say, okay, so after you go through that whole thing, you say, well, why don't you do this, right? Say they wanted a funeral. Why don't you do this? Enroll in the $15,000 option. Okay, it's going to cover the basics of a funeral for you. At the end of the day, at the very bare minimum, we can probably agree you're going to get at least like 15,000 at the very minimum. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So why don't we do this? Enroll in the 15,000. Enroll in the 15,000. If you find a plan that's cheaper within the first 30 days, then 100% you can cancel this one and you can get your money back. And I wouldn't expect you to keep this plan if you find something that's cheaper. If you find something that's cheaper, please call me and tell me, because I want to be able to offer it to my clients. But the bottom line is, Betty, you need insurance. You're going to get it anyway. You can shop around forever to save 10 cents, right? I can get a pound of chicken at Walmart for 99 cents. I can get it down the street for $1.06, right? So you're going to get something anyway. Start here. Let's start checking the box off your list and get this done. And then if they still give pushback, you can say, okay, cool. Is 2 months long enough to do this? Right? Yeah. And you can, this is like a post-it close, which I don't recommend, but this is something, we'll do anything we can to get it closed. So you can say, okay, 2 months long enough to think about it? Well, yeah, of course. Great. So what we're going to do, we're going to set a 2-month deadline here for you to get this. Okay. We're going to apply for this one today. You're going to set the first payment out 30 days. You have 30 days from the day that you make that first payment to get refunded that first payment. So you have 60 days to find a plan that's cheaper than this. Because Betty, how long have you been shopping around? Oh, 6 months. Exactly. You still haven't got anything. So let's set a deadline here. So you have 2 months to get a program in place. I want to help you get coverage. I want to help make sure that this is in place for your kids, even if it's not with me. Let's do this today so you don't have to, you can put your mind on other things. Sound fair enough? So and I would just try to be unreasonable with expecting them to do it today. Makes absolutely no sense for you to wait. We're doing this today, Betty. We have to take care of your kids. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just unreasonable. I'll get 15 no's before if they hang up on me, just follow up. And I apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry for pushing. I'm really passionate about what I do, blah, 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 blah.
Man, that's so good. So good.
I love it. That's awesome.
Just drop it, dude. Yeah, that's so good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a quick question, Justin. Preferred way on how to recruit, an example like social media, ZipRecruiter, Craigslist, or just like warm market. Like what do you prefer?
So I have a funnel that I've built through job boards. So
Okay.
I do job boards. I prefer my favorite are the people I get from watching my YouTube channel, because they're actively trying to get better, right?
Yeah.
Because that's hard to find. Most agents are like, okay, I'm clocking out at 5. That's it. And they treat it like a job. And it's like, so the people who are actively trying to find stuff, like building a brand is huge. Warm leads are always the best. It took a while though. It took me a few months to get rocking before people really started looking at me as like a credible source. But I just, job board. So it's like they go from a job board I have 4 recruiters that I have actively working for me. And then we schedule 330 interviews a day from people off job boards. So, people on job boards don't read the job description. Imagine that, right? A lot of them don't, some do, but a lot of them don't. So, you'll get people to be like, wait, this is commission. It said it like everywhere. They show up in like a tank top, and the person's name on Zoom today was Too Moody Put It Down. That was their name on Zoom. So yeah, I mean, you run into some characters, but I go job boards and then to a meeting, and then I get people to sign up for the license course on the spot. Like you have to sign up right there, and like that's it. Like it's like, because I'm looking for action takers. You know, they're like, well, let me go talk to my wife. It's like, bro, to spend $40, I feel bad for your wife, man. You got to talk to her to spend $40, you know, on the course. So, or $50 or whatever it is, right? So I don't say that, but you know, they're like, oh, I tell people, look, I only have a limited number of slots. I'm looking for action takers. I'm looking for people who want to be successful with this. I can change your life. You know, we can change your financial situation. If it doesn't work out for you, whatever job that you were doing before, I promise is going to be one available for you if you don't end up liking this. But only you would know if it would be good for you. Who wants to get started today? I explain, you know, the whole process of getting licensed, and then whoever wants to get licensed, boom, let's go. Let's get started up. And then for everybody else, look, we're probably not going to have any availability. Slots are filling up pretty quick. I push them to another breakout room on Zoom. Another assistant, or one of my assistants does, another one of them gives them our information to follow up. It's like a callback, you know, like no one calls back. So yeah, you want to get them. That changed it big for me when I started getting people signing up right there on the spot. Like, you got to do this now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Real quick, Justin, I think you kind of already answered my question a little bit based on what you said, but you're when you're doing recruiting, you're holding like group Zoom meetings, right? So it doesn't take too much of your time. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so we have meetings every half hour from 10 to 4, 30 people scheduled per meeting from 10 to 4 with a break from 1 to 1:30 for them. So they're just, you know, they're taking groups of people. And then we also actively call licensed agents lists. So yeah, so that too, calling like people who recently got their licenses and just saying, hey, sure you all got those phone calls when you started, right? So you get licensed, and then, you know, call some people and be like, hey, you know, this is what we got going on. Would you be interested? And yeah, so I have people doing that too.
So you have 30 people every 30 minutes on Zoom?
Yeah, only like 10 or 12 show up. So about 30% show up.
And so you said
don't show
out of
up.
all those people, you're only recruiting about 60 a month out of all of them?
Yeah. Yep. That's how many people sign up for that's how many people end up getting started, right?
Yep.
So you figure we get about 80 to 90 license course signups per week, right? And then about it's going to end up being that, because I switched some things. So it's going to end up being about however many people I get signed up for the course a week is about how many people I'm going to get started that month, because only 25% of the people are going to finish the course, get licensed, all that stuff, maybe less. So
makes sense.
And you're just going unlicensed, right?
Yeah, mainly. I have some licensed stuff. We run some ads on Facebook for license. I haven't had a licensed agent work out from a Facebook ad, and I ran it for 7 months. I haven't had anybody work out from it. Excel Solutions I found is the best course. It gets people through the fastest. So like other courses will take forever for people to go through. Excel, they can bang it out in a few days because it's a lot of video based stuff, and like there's about a 55% pass rate statewide in Florida for the first time taking the exam. That's just like statewide, everybody who takes it. So hey, even if they fail, we touch up on what they failed on and, you know, help them from there.
Yeah, that's good. And you can track their progress, which is really good.
Yeah.
Who else has a question? I guess put a one in the chat if you want to ask a question. I have another one. So you have 4 recruiters. Are you doing any recruiting calls now or no?
I will. I'll call licensed agents if they fill out a form on Facebook over the weekend.
You'll call those?
What's up?
You call those?
Yeah, if I get a text message, I'll call them. Like, I'll always surprise them because they'll fill it out. I'll call them the second they fill that form out. I'm like, yo, you still on Facebook? They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that was me in the video. They're like, wow, you're quick. And I'm like, yeah. And I go through it, and, you know, I'll call them. I do recruiting calls if it's people who reach out from YouTube, because they reach out to talk to me. I can only hire in Florida too. I can't hire in any other state right now for the IMO. Like, some IMOs have territories. So Florida is my territory, which is cool. I mean, it's one of the biggest states in the country, so we got plenty of millions of people to work with. But yeah, definitely if it's YouTube, I reach out to them because they're like, you know, they want to work with me. They don't even really care the name of the IMO. You know what I mean? Because they're like, yeah. So I'll do that. But other than that, not really. I'm trying to ration out as much responsibility as possible. So you get to a point where, you know, I have 100 people. It's like, geez, that's enough to take care of. Never mind everybody who wants to work and everything else. So like you get to a point where, you know, by the end of the year, I don't want to have to run new agent training anymore. You know, I'm going to get all my leadership to netting. They're netting over 10 grand a month now. If I can get them to netting 15 to 20 grand a month, where that's like after expenses and everything, I shouldn't have to run new agent training for them. You know what I mean? They're making enough where they can take that responsibility, and I can work on other things because it just gets overwhelmed. I mean, dude, like you have no idea how many text messages I just have in the amount of time that we've been talking. You know what I mean? It's like group me, text messages, it's like nonstop. So it's like, you know, I get to a point where it's like, okay, I have to like not have that.
Yeah, that's good. Santiago, what's up, man?
Hey man, sorry. Have another question. Just on that topic, what would you say if someone's debating on building either through an IMO or independently?
So I think that the fastest way to scale is building through a single carrier or a captive IMO that has everything combined to one through the IMO. So there's pros and cons to each, right? So like it helps with chargebacks. Like the reason why there's a lot of stuff with SLS. Not only do I love the dudes that I work with, right? I mean, we get along and we're like super, you know, we crush it together, but they cover roll-up debt, right? So I don't pay any downline chargebacks, which is like insane. So, and then but from a scalability standpoint, with a captive IMO where everything's together, there's going to be systems in place to help agents get started faster, right? And then especially telesales. And then if you work in a single carrier, then like chargebacks and everything's all just in one thing. You're in one vertical. Like the applications are way easier. It's easier to scale, right? So think about like companies like Lincoln Heritage or Senior Life. They're easier to scale teams with because you only have to teach one application. You don't have to teach how to underwrite. It's literally like read the script, fill out the app. It's so simple. It's the easiest thing. Yeah, their policies may be more expensive and stuff like that, but the guys I've seen make the most money the fastest are either in a captive IMO or a single carrier. That's like all the guys I've seen make the most amount of money. You know, and I know there's plenty of argument out there to say, well, you know, you're not getting the best product for your clients and you're not doing this, and there's maybe better, you know, and then you can't cross-sell products as easy and stuff if you're in a captive IMO or whatever the case may be. But like the guys I see make the most money, they do one thing and they just get really, really good at that one thing. So it's up to you to decide what do you feel would be the best fit. But the fastest to scale is definitely going to be one of those two.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
100%. You're not having to teach a bunch of different carriers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, exactly. It's like if you want to be the insurance guy and be a one-stop shop for health insurance, Medicare, final expense, life insurance, term, and everything, annuities, then, you know, independent, then it's going to be hard for you to scale yourself though, right? So like the specialist is always going to make more than the general practitioner. The surgeon's always going to make more than the general practitioner. So it's like you can do that. You can do a bunch of stuff and you can have your shop, but you're gonna, in terms of scaling, that's hard. So it's like you do one thing, that's it, and like just run with it. That's
Yeah. So good. Yeah. I love it. For somebody just starting out wanting to grow grow their insurance agency and wanting to like really pour money on recruiting, what would be the best place to start like spending money and spending money on that stuff?
Indeed, if you're looking for remote agents, Indeed has the best recruiting platform in terms of applicant volume. It's really hard to get approved on Indeed though. So you kind of got to like, you know, a lot of times places have to have like a lease in an office space. You have to provide that lease to them. You need like a legit website. You have to look like, because they had a lot of people running scams on Indeed, where like people would go and they'd be like, yeah, we are, you know, the C-suite team for this hospital out here in California. And then some doctors like, great, like, let's do it. Like, you know, totally legit interview. And then these people, this doctor gives them his bank account info for a direct deposit, his social, everything else. Then they scam the dude and take everything from him. So like, there were a lot of things like that. So they're just like super crazy. Yeah, they're super strict now about like who they let on the platform. I got shut down from them a couple times. It's always a battle with them. ZipRecruiter is another one. I mean, you know, LinkedIn has it. You can learn how to run Facebook ads to licensed agents. So it's really, you know, a bunch of things there. And you can trade, you know, you can try like different things on the post. Like you don't have to put life insurance agent, right? You can put like, because that sounds like mega boring to most people. So you can put like, you know, sales rep, remote sales representative, right? It's like, okay, it's super basic. Like, you know, I've even put customer service stuff. Before I put like customer service, like, yeah, we service customers. You got to sell them too. They're like, oh God.
Yeah. Dang. Well,
I know. I mean, Johnny, is it okay if I get another question?
yeah.
Yep.
I
I
know
got
you
like 2
said-
minutes, guys.
Okay, you're good. It can wait.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I just got 2 minutes and then you're good.
Yeah, for your agent, I know you said you were trying to step out of agent training. You have like, did you say like 3 or 4 major downlines? Like you were looking to hand that off to? What's that look like?
So yeah, so like I run all the recruiting and I run all the new agent training, and then I am building them up. And then at like once they get to a point income wise, they take over some of the costs of the recruiting and then we share it, right? So it's like I'm investing in them because that's the next best investment. Instead of me waiting for someone who was just going to do it and figure it out like I did, I'm like, cool, let me pay them to do it. So now it's at a point where it's like, hey, I figure out my cost per agent every month once they get it to a certain income level, and I'll give them a certain amount of recruits at no cost. But if they want to grow more, then they can just pay me. Like I'll figure, hey, this month it cost me $400 for each recruit. Then cool, well, I'll give you $2,000. Let me get 5 more. You know what I mean? So we kind of go. That's kind of what it looks like.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Boom.
Boom.
Let's go. Well, Justin, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on here and being able to pour into us, help us grow and scale our agencies.
Yeah,
and
guys.
answer our questions. Where can they reach out to and follow you?
Yeah, just look on YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat here.
Justin, thanks, man. This is awesome, man. A lot of great info, man.
I'm glad I was able to help you guys.
Straight fire, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. It means a lot. If anybody has any questions, just reach out to me. Just look for my name. There's literally no one else in the world with my name. So if you find something with it, even if it's bad, it was me. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thanks,
Peace out,
Justin.
guys. Have a good one.